What is up? What is up? It's the Top 1% podcast. I'm doing this live from a parking lot because I have to get new tires. We have Carlos Pulido, the monster in Chicago, is what I call him in my own brain. He doesn't know that. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk with you. We haven't gotten a chance to hang out as much this year. Yeah, I think neither one of us has crossed paths as much. I think you've been grinding a little bit more than I have because I haven't seen you at any of the events.
Oh man, yeah. First, man, thanks for inviting me, man. It's I feel like it's an honor, man. So I appreciate that. I've been extremely busy, man. I told myself this year that I personally didn't want to write as much business as I used to. I wanted to just be there for my agents and do anything I can to add value to the agency and grow the agency so that other agents can be like, okay, we want to be with Carlos and his expert insurance team. So I've been busy trying to do that, man. And AEP's coming around, trying to make sure that everybody's contracts are in order, all that type of jazz. You know how it goes when you have an agency.
The fun stuff.
Oh yeah, real
good.
Fun
yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the contracting I think is my arch enemy, pretty much.
It's exactly
contracting, licensing, all that kind of stuff.
It's exactly what I say.
It'll eat up your time.
It's exactly what I say in my emails when somebody wants to jump on board. First thing I say, hey, contracting is like a multi-step process. It's the worst part of it all. We're at the mercy of carriers and lost emails in the abyss and all that jazz. So I ask people to be patient, but we've gotten better at it with a lot of experience. We've gotten it smoother and smoother over time. So I can't complain.
Yeah. I share your sentiment. I was trying to plug a lot more into being part there for my team and plugged into that. But I found out probably March or April that the machine I had created for activity didn't give a crap if I wanted to get out of the field or not. And so I had to make a choice. Do I hand off all this business that I've earned the hard way over sweat and tears over a couple of years, or do I just stick it out and force myself struggling begrudgingly to work all these referrals, but yeah, no, it's been a great year for me. I've had a lot of fun. I've made a couple of pivots back and forth, but I'm really curious about one. I don't know a ton about your agency. I know you have a bunch of agents, but how many agents do you have now?
I think the last time I counted, about 154 agents.
154. Out of those 154, how many are writing?
Well, the truth is, with any business, right? It's the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of the people are the majority of the business, and 80%,
Well, what I mean is not like is everybody writing apps, but is everybody out in the field trying, or do you have any what I call dead boats where they put their boat in the water and they never get on it?
Well, there are those, there's always going to be those dead boats, as you call it. My agency, we're all independent agents, right? And majority of us are doing everything over the phone, Zoom, calling in. A lot of us are doing, face to face, like you do, and doing seminars and all that jazz. But yeah, it's weird. Some people will be successful and some people aren't. And why is that? I don't know, because when somebody comes, when somebody comes to me and says, Carlos, like, it's all because of you, why I'm at this point, like I'm doing so great. And I say, it's really not about me. It's because I give you the exact same thing I've given the next person, and the next person for some reason doesn't make it. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about you wanting this and taking it seriously. Like, you've made a choice to make this your career, and you've ran with the tools that I've given you. That's all, right? It's not about me, because I've given the next person the same thing, and for some reason the next person, just didn't make it. So yeah, I can't really put my finger.
The best analogy I've heard for that is it's like giving the 10 people the same recipe for a cake, and those 10 people are going to have completely different skill sets in the kitchen. They're going to have different ideas of how things work and how ingredients work together and what order to do things. And so I think it's that way. You can give the same ingredients, same recipe, same everything to 10 people, and 4 of them will make an awesome cake, and 4 of them will burn it, and 2 of them you won't know what the hell it is.
That's absolutely right. And I try to be
But yeah, no, I agree.
I'm sorry. I try to be conscious of the fact that not everybody's gonna like take it all the same, you know. So I try to understand what motivates somebody or how to approach this or how to teach, because some people learn differently. Like some agents will learn by, you know, bumping their head against the wall. You know, they're okay with that. Some people aren't okay with bumping their heads against the wall. They need to know everything before they bump their heads against the wall. Does that make sense? So I try to be conscious of that too.
Oh yeah, you're talking about my friend Tyler, Mr. Green, who has to know all the details and plan everything out before we do anything.
But Tyler's amazing.
But it's okay. But at the same time, there's some strength to that too. And when you have that level of detail of planning in advance, sometimes it can pay off if things don't go right. But what I'm curious about for you guys for AEP, like for everybody always like rats my brain over for what do I do for leads for AEP, and everybody always thinks that I'm like making it up when I say I don't. Like for me, I don't work leads in AEP. I work all referrals. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do as many applications as I do.
Sure,
Because
sure.
you can't the lead cycle, the work cycle for working a lead's 10 times, 5 times longer than working a referral. But I'm curious for your agency, do you guys pump up the volume on your activity this time of year?
Yes. So to answer the question about the leads, a lot of us have been in the business for a little while, and we're working the leads that we already have. And I try to encourage my agents or teach my agents, listen, if you don't open your mouth, you're not going to get fed. If you don't ask for the referral, no one's ever going to give you a referral, right? Maybe 1 out of 10 people you help is going to give you a referral, but if you don't ask, it's never going to happen, right? But we do a lot of Facebook lead generating, you know, especially during AEP, because outside of AEP, we're only targeting people who are turning 65, you know, the 64-year-olds. But during
Mhm.
AEP, we've got a larger pond to fish from, right?
That's
64
right.
to a million years old, we can target on Facebook. So yes, we do turn up the advertising on Facebook during AEP, targeting, you know, all ages in Medicare for sure. And
So
yeah,
is that the core of your marketing then, is through the digital side? Do you do any direct mail or do you do anything else?
we don't do any direct mail, and that's my fault, because like attitude kind of reflects leadership. Like if the leader doesn't do it, then most people in the downline won't do it either. So I never I never did it. I heard it's great, but when you compare your cost per acquisition on the Facebook side versus the mail drop, I tend to think the
Here's here's what I would say. You and I, outside of a Zoom like this, I would love to collaborate with you a little bit, because what I've found, I'm a direct mail heavy, like basically exclusively direct mail person, where I'm now starting learning the power of automation and funnels, and some really fun things happen when you combine all three into one thing. So
yeah.
this last set of seminars we did, we combined a QR code on there, we combined a line to RSVP to, and then we had some advertisements with Facebook ads and some Google ads to funnel people through. I ended up spending about $60 per person. I know, I mean, it was my first one. I never ran a Facebook ad like that before. So I know I can fine tune over time, but I'm willing to pay $65 for people to come to my T65 seminar all day long,
All day
knowing
long.
that the lifetime value is like $2,500.
All day long.
So
Yeah.
those that are out there, a lot of agents that I have, I plug into like the seminar program. They get frustrated when they have 3 or 4 or 5 attendees or less. But I love those smaller crowds. I find I have a much higher ability to build in the relationship. I get more referrals from those.
Mhm.
The one I did yesterday had 3 attendees, and before the end of it, a lady already had called my assistant, and we have, I think it's 3 or 4 referrals from her before I've even helped her.
I
And so I was curious if we definitely should chat that out, because I think I can give you some pointers to combine the two. Because with using direct mail and digital, et cetera, you can fine tune and probably get 2-3% where you normally would get a half to 1% on your return. And so the synergistic model, I think, is a better model. Um,
I'd love
for
it. Yeah.
AEP, do you guys are you working 7 days a week like me, or do you do the weekends off like so many agents I see out there trying to compete with people like me?
Forgive me, man. Like I see you, and I'm like, God bless you. You know,
Yeah.
I came from an industry where I was working bust outs, they call it, on a Saturday, 9 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wake up, you open the store, and then you got to close until the last client leaves, you know? And at that point, my daughter was 6 months old, and I'm looking outside and I'm like, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And I'm like, I'm wasting my life here. Like my daughter's life is passing me by. It's the weekend, and what am I doing here? You know? So ever since then, I vowed that I'm not going to work on the weekends. Saturdays and
Yeah.
Sundays are for my family, because literally during the week, Josh, I'm working all the time. Like I drop
Mm-hmm.
off the kids, they got to be at school by 7:50. I'm at work by 8:05, and I don't get out of here till 7, 8 o'clock at night. You know, so what? Like Monday through Friday. So Saturdays and
Yep.
Sundays, I have to have some time off. The
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
answer to is my agents. My agents can call me, they text me, they need something quick and easy. I can handle that really quick. But if a client needs something, forgive me, they'll be there when I get back on Monday for sure.
Yep, yep, yeah. I have systems in place too, but I really respect that a lot, and I'm gravitating more and more towards that. I've been putting it out there too much. I can't back out now and not have one more run. But I'm kind of bored. I'm running out of. Like, it takes a whole team to compete with me. Um, and I look at scoreboards from other agencies and organizations, and like literally, you got to take the top 2 or 3 or 4 of like their top, like not like an average agent, but like the top of their cream, and it takes 3 or 4 of them. And so
Add,
like
add them up, right?
I'm
And
getting bored, and I'm trying to find my next holy grail is I want to have somebody beat me from my own team. And so
and
that's my next thing, is trying to develop someone else into the next Medicare machine. And so that's really,
I'm gonna say this.
yeah.
Do it. Like nothing feels better than bringing somebody up to your level, right? But as an agency, like, and I've experienced this many times, it's going to be hard to find the next Josh, right? It's going to be hard to find the next Carlos. You know, sometimes you got to love the people where they're at, because they're not going to do 1,000 policies like you in AEP. They might do 500, and that's
Mhm.
amazing still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm really excited about it. We got this kid Holden, on our squad, who he's just crushing. He's in his first year and he's already pushing out 20 to 30 apps a month, and straight MA. You doing the same, just running the system. Most part grassroots, a little bit of leads, but probably 90% grassroots coming from it. So I'm really excited about him. We have Amber. We have so many highly talented individuals, and I know you do too. And that's really the fun part for me. It's becoming like the AAP. I love the AAP. I honestly wish it was from September 1st to December 31st. Hell, I mean, then I could take the rest of the year off, like the rest of these agents do.
Yeah.
Um, I ran into a guy at the Elite Training for Humana Ambassadors, the top 100. This guy was a really interesting character. He's a really cool guy, but he came up to me for pointers on how he can do more business. He's like, "This is how I do it. I work AEP and I take the rest of the year off. I play golf." And I was like, "Well,
Well,
I
let me
can't work. I can't work with that. I'm envious, but like I was talking to my wife yesterday, I don't think I have it in me to turn it off. Like for me,
It's got to
she
be. It's
keeps
almost.
saying, you keep saying stop, but I don't know if I can stop."
It is. It
Um,
is a mental switch. It's got to be like almost cold turkey. You know, like, hey, if I'm gonna make a decision to not work like a dog during AEP and spread it out throughout the whole year, or just maybe not work on the weekends, then you have to like commit to it. You know, it's almost like cold turkey.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
go through
Yeah,
in a.
yeah, no, and I've got luckily for me, I've off-sourced my schedule completely to my assistant. And so she does a really good job right now of making sure that my schedule is just like psychotically full every single day of my life. But it's good because I can't take days off for golf like I used to. And my production will be the same either way. But what's happened is my productivity and being a leader and being a team builder and being there for the team has exponentially. But I have to laugh because Holden heard me. I didn't know he was watching, but he's infuriated that it takes a whole team to beat me. It really does, Holden. Just so we're clear, because I still have the trophy at my office. I think is how it works.
Good, good.
Um, But so tell me, you guys have a really big presence. Your team has a really big presence in the bilingual, the Hispanic market, the multicultural markets.
Yeah,
I'm really envious of that. I'm looking to get into that kind of realm. Tell me, how do you recruit agents in that realm? Is it through word of mouth mostly?
100% word of mouth. I've never gone out to put a recruitment ad anywhere. It's always been word of mouth. If I help one person and I can change that agent's life, then you know how it is. They become
Yeah,
evangelical and they
yeah.
start spreading the good word and say, hey, you should come talk to Carlos. And then it turned into two, and then it turned into four, and then it turned into 150 agents. I really started my agency, I want to say, uh, April of 2021. April of 2021. So a little less than 2 years ago is when I really went all on my own. Because before this, I was an LOA agent, if you know what that means. You
Yep.
know exactly what that means. So yeah, in the last 2 years, went from one or two agents to 150, and it's always been word of mouth. And the way the reason it's happened, Josh, it's just like you, like the more you give to the universe, the more it gives back to you, right? So if somebody wants to be on this team, then I'm humbled, excited, and I take it personal. That say, here, I'm going to do whatever I can to show you what I know, to give you the tools, and hopefully it'll change your life, right? And oftentimes it does. And again, the word starts spreading, and that's how it happened. But let me tell you, like the secret sauce, going back to um, Spanish language and all that jazz, right? So 3 years into it, 3 years into my career, um, my wife didn't want to be where she was working anymore. And I told her, hey, listen, why don't you quit your job? Come work for me. Come help me build this business together. Do all the busy stuff for me, like the stuff that takes up my time, and let me learn the marketing side of things, right? So I dove into the Facebook ads. I started like researching and doing, watching videos and paying people for training and all that jazz. And I ran some Facebook ads and they started working, right? And then I said, well, let me try it in Spanish. And then they started working. I had to turn it off. I was like, I can't, it's too, I can't work them. So once I knew how to do it, I knew somebody, one of my agents who spoke Spanish. I was like, well, let me do them for you, and let's see if it worked for you. And sure enough, it worked for them, right? So if somebody needs Spanish turning 65 ads, we can just turn it on, right? Facebook ads. And then because we can do it in that language, we can do it in all the other language. We can do it in Chinese, Russian, Tagalog, Hindi, Polish. I forget what other languages we have on our team, but yeah, it's once you know how to do it, that's kind of like the secret sauce, right?
Medicare Bob, the cookie cutter part. Yep.
Medicare Bob says once you can control your leads, you can control everything in your business. So it's not easy and it's not cheap, but because we know how to do it and it's possible, that's kind of been the secret sauce. And that helps with recruiting, right? That helps with people coming on board. It does.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. For your team of 150 agents, if you guys had the AEP you want them to have, how many apps do you think your team would do?
If I wanted them to, so I think I want to say about 4,000 apps. But about 4,000 apps is realistic, right? A great one.
Yeah.
A great one would be like 7,000 or 8,000 apps. But a good one would be 4,000. And again,
yeah,
go back
to that's strong.
Yeah, we go back to
that's strong. Some people are like, I want 40 apps, right? So 4,000's killer.
As far as the agency goes, you know what I mean? And that's relatively
right.
Peanuts compared to a lot of agencies out there, but that's how it is. That's the truth.
Yeah. Peanuts is peanuts, but comparing ourselves to others never ends up in a well situation unless you're in the middle of a competition. Then you can compare yourself to their people in the competition with you. But other than that, yeah. So I really respect everything about you. I really enjoy, like, if you're ever at an event with him, just wait, because he's gonna have a question for somebody, and it's gonna be a very, very, very blunt and very, very transparent type of question that he's going to ask somebody. I really always enjoy being around you and your agents. Everybody's always top notch, respectable. Yeah, I mean, you're the kind of guy that I would trust to send all my agents to a training with, not worried about getting recruited away, because you're not that kind of person.
Yeah,
And so
I appreciate that, man. And I'm happy that we became friends, that I got a chance to meet you. I got a chance to say hi to you. Because I remember you. You said you have a resting bee face, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Let me go up to Josh, because somebody had mentioned you. Let me go up to Josh and say hi. And man, it's completely not true, man. You're one of the nicest cats I know, and I'm excited to see, you know, how much you've grown, man, from meeting you there at the table to being on stage. It's really been amazing, man, for real.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan, man. I'm a cheerleader for sure.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I want to give those viewers. We got 6 hot viewers right now. So I want to give them some sauce for AEP, because clearly, hopefully, it's not somebody who's not in the business watching this right now, because it's very boring stuff. Medicare stuff's very boring. But so for me, I have this thing, this idea called the Hot 100 list, which is, in essence, once upon a time, I got sucked into doing network marketing.
Yeah.
And I was good at it for a little bit, but then I couldn't get any traction because it wasn't a model that I could duplicate within other people. So it's one thing I learned was they do a really good job of getting people to work their own warm market. And in essence, it's almost like the I can't think of the damn life insurance company that just is more of a recruiting agency than anything else. Primerica. Yeah,
Sure.
but it's like a Primerica model. So go ahead and sue me if you want Primerica, but that's your model. You recruit first, you help people second. But what they'll do is they'll have you recruit your warm market, but you have to go and you do a pitch fest. And so my advice is work your warm market by creating a story. And the story has to start with what your goal is, and it's got to be a profound goal that impacts people in a positive way. And so it can't be about the money. It's got to be about how many people are going to help. It'll be how many lives you're going to change, how many families you're going to improve. And that's got to be the driving force behind it. But that's where the core of the story starts. So you start off with your story and where you came from, that you took a risk by walking away from your salary or walking away from your job, you got fired, or whatever that situation that created the situation that you wanted to be an insurance agent now, which nobody talks about. You're always recruited into the business, it feels like. So for me, you make a list of 100 people that you know. And I tell my agents, I don't care who it is, go on your Facebook list, somebody that just added you as a friend from Taiwan, I mean, add them to the damn list. You basically, you got to eliminate people before you exclude people in your mind. But you make a list of 100 and you call them with your story and what your goal is for this AEP. And then you basically ask them, especially if you're new, this is really effective. You tell them that, look, I'm trying this new industry. I only have enough money to do one lead drop, one lead push, I have one shot. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to waste that one shot. Are you willing, mom, grandma, cousin, lady from church, neighbor, whoever you are you willing to let me practice on you? Are you willing to let me just get some reps in, whether it's talking about dental insurance or Medicare insurance, whatever you're eligible for? Would you please let me practice on you? And if you come from that angle versus, hi, I'm in insurance now, can I sell you some life insurance, or can I quote you, or whatever? I find that to be exponentially so effective. And the agents that actually do it and wholeheartedly do it, they'll call me and say, yeah, I did that, and now I have an appointment to talk about life insurance. Or because doing this practice, you're going to end up finding people that are paying too much or have the wrong coverage or have a need that haven't been filled. And you're going to end up selling some policies on accident doing the same thing. And then once you help somebody solve that problem, now you have a new referral partner. Because if it's friend, family, neighbor, church member, whoever, it's someone in your Hot 100 list, then they're gonna be easier to turn on to a referral machine, or as you call it, evangelicist. Because I have a couple of those, and I'll tell you, I just came from. In fact, that's why I'm now sitting in a parking lot, because I didn't get back to my office in time because I need new tires. But I was sitting in a building full of Koreans that only speak Korean, and I have this one lady who's been my friend because I helped her a long time ago, but she's helped me translate to help over 80 Koreans that don't speak anything but Korean.
Wow.
And I don't even speak one word of Korean. They've tried to teach me a little bit. They tried to feed me some of the food today, and I'm still scared to try it, but I want to.
Oh no, you got to. You have
but you
to.
know, I know I have to. It's almost insulting when I tell them no. But for me, it's been that my mentality is always find a way, not an excuse. So when I got a lead and they wrote I speak Korean on the lead, a lot of people would say, well, I need to find someone who speaks Korean to work that lead. In my mind, I went, I need to find a way that I can work that lead. And so I used United Healthcare's translator services, set up an appointment, helped them with my Google Translate on my phone, and then they told me Young about me, and the rest has been history. But I'm curious if you have, there's just like one core thing that you tell a new agent that, you have no money and you want to get activity, do this to get your fuel going, get the engine running.
First, let me say something about what you said and the way you approach that Hot 100, right? Where you say, I just need to get practice in, which basically you're saying without saying, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to get some practice in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an excellent approach, because when I teach my agents, I tell them, like, you can't be desperate for the sale, because they will feel that, and nobody wants to do business with the desperate person, right? Nobody wants to date you if you're desperate, right? So how do you approach it? Hey, I don't care what you do. Like, you got to approach it with indifference, right? Like, I'm here to help you. I'm here to educate you. At the end of the day, if you want me to be your insurance agent, great, hallelujah. If not, then understand that I'm not going to retire on your policy. Hopefully, you give me a chance to be your insurance agent, but that drops the barrier, that drops their guard, that allows you in. So yes, anybody that's working with you and you tell them, hey, I just want to practice with you, man, that's an excellent way to approach it, because it's really working to lead without indifference, with indifference. You don't care what's going on, right? You don't care what they do, and it works. It works. But let's say, okay, you have no money. Okay, you have no money. What do you do? What I tell my agents is that there are thousands of people like you and me in the insurance business. Okay, that want nothing to do with health insurance, that want nothing to do with Medicare, right? But they're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, just like we are, right? Once a month, that person who's working 40, 50, 60 hours a week is getting somebody that's asking them about health insurance or about Medicare at least once a month, and they're working 40, 50 hours a week, right? If you reach out to that one person that wants nothing to do with health insurance or Medicare, and you tell them, listen, send those people my way, and I'm gonna pay you $100, man, you'll be amazed how many people send you referrals. And imagine if you had a Medicare machine out there with 100 referral partners that do PNC, that do financial planning, that do disability, Farmers, State Farm, whatever Geico agents are out there that do this insurance for a living but want nothing to do with Medicare. Imagine if you had a Medicare referral machine out there, and they all think about you once a month. Imagine how many leads you can get. And it doesn't cost you anything. You're just giving them the money that you would have never had before in the first place, right? Because they sent you a lead, you sold it, and now you can give them $100, right? You can easily walk door to door to all the agencies out there that PNC, like I said, financial planners, disability lawyers, and say, introduce yourself. Say, hey, this is what I want to do. I promise that I won't step on your toes with any other products that you sell. You want me to handle their health insurance, their Medicare? I'll do that for you. And by the way, I'm going to give you $100. Oh, you say you don't want $100? You just want me to take care of the client? I personally tell my agents, listen, still send them $100, because even though they say they don't want it, they like to get the money. I know I don't think you do that, Josh, but I try to train my agents to do that for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it works any way it works for you, works for you. Way I like to do it, I like my pie being my pie, and I like them to earn their pie. And so what I do instead, I don't leave them empty-handed. One, I try to refer people back. And the second part I try to do on a concerted way is I try to help them uncover stuff that they're not good at. So as an example, financial planners and PNC agents are really, 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 excuse my language, shitty life insurance salesmen. And so what I'll often do is I'll try to help them find someone that needs long-term care or needs life insurance, but they were a referral from them. And so I'll warm them all up and say, hey, you really need to do this life insurance. And I'll send them back to the financial advisor ready to do a life insurance policy that pays them $2,000 or $3,000. You only have to do one or two of those. And you don't need to worry about giving them any money ever again, because now they know you're going to be like a gold miner for them. And I'm okay doing that, because I'll take the financial planners I do that with, I'll get 50, 60 referrals a year from just one or two financial planners. And so for me, I don't think there's any wrong way. Any way that you can turn on a referral source, even if it means you have to share $100 of your commission, just remember that's only the first year commission. And the lifetime value of every Medicare Advantage person, especially, is well over $2,000 to you. As if you're even halfway decent at doing the business. What I mean by that is, if you're good at retention, that's really where the long-term money comes in, is you got to retain what you got. And so that is one of my focuses. But yeah, I agree. The referral partnership and leveraging money that it basically is like getting a payday loan on your own sale, that you're promising someone else a piece of the pie that they're going to help you get in the first place, that you would never have gotten had you not developed that relationship. And maybe it is over time. They say they don't want the money or whatever. Like for me, I'm more of a giftology type of person. So I'd rather send them back an app. I'd rather send them back. Like there's this one financial planner I have a relationship with. He really likes race cars and stuff. So I'll send him like the newest, latest Matchbox car or some other little thing that means something more, so that when he sees that sitting on his desk, then he thinks of me. Because money to me fades away. Money goes quick, and they forget about the check as soon as they cash it. And so I'd rather have something that sits on their desk, like a paperweight or a trophy or some other thing like that. But like I said, Carlos, I don't think there's a wrong way to get referrals. If you're getting referrals, you're doing it right.
Yeah, and trust me what you're doing is more relationship building than it is transactional with $100 for sure. I get it. If somebody wants a quick and easy way to start their business, man, this is the way that I've agents. Hey,
yeah.
You want to get a jump start? You have no money, man. Go out there and say, listen, I'm going to give you money. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, no, I agree. And for the mission at hand, how do I jumpstart and do that as fast as possible? Do that as fast as possible, because it doesn't mean you have to do that forever. Just start talking to different financial advisors after that, or different lawyers, or different whatever. And then from then on, you don't have to offer the 100 anymore. But to get yourself going, like I said, I would do whatever it takes. And there is, I can't say I don't, because there is one financial planner that I send $100 referral fee for every person they send to me. But I got that connection from a guy I used to mentor at the old agency I ran. He died. I took over his book of business, and that financial planner happened to be the executive of that guy's estate.
Oh, okay.
And so I ended up creating a relationship. He's like, hey, that guy would send us $100 when we sent him a referral. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not going to.
I'm not going to do it. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. So that's great. No, AEP. A lot of people say, I get this question probably 10 times a week this time of year. Is it a good time to get into the business, or should I wait until after AEP? It's like, what do you mean? Like this is the fishing season. This is the hunting season. You want to wait until after it's over to start hunting or start fishing?
Yeah.
Like even if you only catch a little bit of the action, I mean, you can really make a dent. My first AEP part-time, I ended up being able to make my wife a stay-at-home mom, because I replaced her entire annual income in 2 months.
Yeah.
And so don't let limiting beliefs, which is what the world puts on you. If you're watching this and you're going, how the hell am I going to crush AEP? You crush AEP by deciding you're going to crush AEP and then taking a bunch of action. What a lot of agents are doing right now is taking it easy. They're taking a break. It's almost like they're sitting around waiting for AEP to start. I would encourage you to get out there and try to get 2 or 3 more referral partners. Try to find a VFW to send you veterans, because the big veteran opportunity is really AEP. And then you don't got to deal with prorated business.
I'm of the same sentiment. People will ask me, hey, should I just wait? Like I have the ACA side of the agency and the Medicare side of the agency, and sometimes an ACA agent will ask me, hey, should I just wait till next year to get my Medicare contracts? And no, you should start now, because there is a learning curve to stuff, right? You're not going to be the best insurance Medicare agent out there. You have to go through some experience, right? If you jump in right now and you dive in head first, there's learning curve is like this. It's flat at first because you don't know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden you start selling policies, and then it starts growing exponentially, right? But that's only if you dive in right away, right now, not January 1. If you do it part time, or if you wait to do it later, then that learning curve is just going to grow out 4 times as long, right? It's going to be flat for 4 times longer. You have the opportunity now during AEP, where it's order taking season, to get as much of the experience as possible, and you're going to miss it. So, no, you don't want that learning curve to be 4 times as long and then your growth is over here. You want to jump in right now. So, yes, we're in the same sentiment. Should you do it now? Yeah, you should do it now. Why are you going to wait?
Yeah. People always ask, what's the worst thing about doing what I do? I say the first year was the worst part because it sucked because I had no money coming in. I was chasing my tail all the time. I went all in. I bought a new house before I went in the field. So I had this crazy mortgage payment that was like 3 times as much as the one I've had before. And so it's a scary world in that first year. And if you jump in right now, like when I launched June 1st, I didn't know it, but I was like geniusly skipping half of the worst year. And so when you start mid-year like this, or even right before AAP, all of a sudden you'll hit January and you got this wave of money that makes everything a little bit easier.
Yeah,
and that it shortens 1 year out of your process, or at least it condenses it to where you only got to deal with 4 months. So you've heard them where those commercials about those colleges that say get your 4-year degree in 2 or 3 or whatever. This is how you do that: is you can get your 2-year degree in 1 AEP. By jumping in right now, all in. You're not going to know any more or less than most of the other agents out there. And in reality, there's plenty of fish. Like even the best agent in the world couldn't handle 1% of the total opportunity. So there's plenty of people to help. There's plenty of opportunity. You can change your life. You could, like some people, if you just want to like pay your mortgage with residual income, help 10 people a month for 3 years, and you've got a 6-figure income, and you can buy whatever mortgage you want. I think if your mortgage is more than 10K, then you probably need to work harder.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jesus, I same boat. I mean, it may be scary to jump in, but we've all been there. You know, when I first started, I was living on unemployment, right? Living on unemployment for 6 months, and my wife Mary had a 401k that we had to take out. It was $15,000, you know. So that kind of stuff, we've all been through it, you know, starting from zero scratch. But look at us now, right? We have agencies where you're making probably $100 trillion, and I'm just making a few bucks, but we're still making it. You know what I mean? Can you still see me? I think I lost you.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah. So yeah, it's a beautiful business. AEP's it's a wonderful time of year, especially if you're awesome like Carlos and you take the weekends off. Because I just can't do it.
Try it, man. Try it. It feels good.
I'm looking forward. Someday I'm gonna do it. I've got my 2-year-old. He's born in the middle of AEP, so he'll turn 3 on November 7th. And
I hope you take that day off.
It's hard. Yeah, no, I do stuff for his birthday and then Thanksgiving too. But I still write apps on both days. But I can't say I take them off.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I'm really excited to enter the next phase, whatever that is. Because like I said, I sorry, Holden, but I am getting bored. Trying to wait for people to beat me, so to speak. And that's to me competing against other people. When I start competing against myself, I really start going, well, how many people am I really impacting? How many lives am I really changing? I'm changing a lot of client lives right now, but even for me, at the top 1% or whatever, I'm still not touching as many lives as your agency's gonna. Your agency of 150 and your efforts are going to impact more lives than the efforts of my Spartan 14 or 15 or whatever we got.
You're not gonna. There's not gonna be very, very many Joshes out there, right? So I think that mental switch should be like, if you can get agents who are writing a quarter of your business, you're going to change their life too, right? You're going to change their life just helping them write a quarter of what you write, Josh. And I think you'd be happy, man.
Yeah, no, Holden's throwing smoke out of his nose now. He's losing his mind over there. But that's part of why Holden's crushing it this year. Holden, you've got the drive, you've got the tenacity, you've got that fire that makes you want to compete. Like literally, Carlos, we have this. I'm not going to give myself too much credit on it, but it was a pretty genius move in retrospect. So I was kind of bored towards the end of OEP this year. I was like, how am I going to motivate myself? And so I got in. Holden is thank you again for your service, Holden. He's an Army veteran, and so push-ups are his jam when they have to be. And so me, my wife still makes fun of me when we first started redating again before we got married. I was gonna do P90X. I don't know if you ever tried P90X, but it's a
A long
freaking
time ago,
nightmare.
I think we had the case of CDs too.
Oh man. So like it's like nothing but push-ups. And my body, I've never ever done anything. I can shoot baskets from 40 feet away from the hoop. I can throw a football 70 yards. But if you ask me to do 10 push-ups, I struggle to get to number 10. And so basically what I did was I told Holden, okay, so we're gonna have a contest. Most apps wins, and each month, so it's a monthly contest, and every application that he beats me or I beat him by, the other one owes the other person 10 push-ups.
Holy smokes.
And so I have just been punishing this kid to death. This man, I'll be nice. I'm not going to call you a kid because you are a man, Holden. But he does push-ups for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I really feel bad because I tried to let him out and give him an out for AEP, and he insists that no, we're keeping this push-up challenge through AEP. So I mean, if I hit my goal and he hits his goal, then he's going to owe me like 3,000 to 4,000 push-ups, even if he hits his goal. So if you see this huge guy walking around and he's wearing a Medicare Peace of Mind shirt, you know his name is Holden. He didn't even wear a name tag.
That's good, man. It's good that you create that kind of competition, man, because some people thrive on that stuff, right? Competition, people thrive on. Some people thrive on recognition, like they see their names in lights, right? And other people just really thrive on the money, it seems like you and Holden are competition guys,
Well, that, and it's really helped me because he close one month almost in my mind, and so the next month I just put my foot to the pedal. I did 60, and he did too. He got to 30, and then I squashed him with 60. But no, I think it's fun to incorporate fun with the team and have competition, friendly competition. Not getting to that toxic side of things, but tell me about there's one thing we never really chatted about. Tell me about what do you enjoy doing when you're not at the office 12 hours a day?
Man, we were just at a friend's house for a block party. They had a block party, blocked up the streets. Everybody in the neighborhood kind of just has food out there. And we were talking to some friends, and they said everybody has vices, right? And I was like, I don't have a vice. Like I literally, it's all I do all day, Josh. I just go to work. I help out my agents sell policies, and I go home and I play with my kids. That's all I do. I come home and I act like a clown with my kids, and I do the honey-do list that my wife tells me to do, and that's all I do. So what do I like to do for fun? I just like hanging out with my kids. It's like
being a dad. Yeah, that's okay.
Like I really enjoy seeing my kids like just do stuff. Like I like it when I see them at jujitsu. I like them. I like taking them to dance practice. I see my son doing jujitsu. That kind of stuff makes me happy. Like I don't do anything else. I don't play golf. I should. I don't really drink. I don't really like gamble or play golf. I don't do that stuff. I used to love to dance. I mean, I still love to dance. I had a dance group back in college, and if you ask my friends what am I known for, like I'm a pretty good dancer. I'm a pretty good Latin dancer. So if I could do something for the rest of my life and get paid for it the way I'm getting paid selling insurance, I'd probably be a dancer. But I'm
like salsa.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
kind of? Okay,
like dancing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I'm not that good at it. Like I'm better than the average Joe.
Well, but if you put time and energy into it, I bet you'd be pretty good at it. If you're already good at it,
I'm pretty sure I can, but I don't think the best salsa dancers in the world are getting paid like we are. So yeah, so I stick to this. It gives me the means to be able to, take the time off on the weekend and just spend time with my kids and my wife and family.
You could be a self-sponsored professional salsa dancer if you want.
Yeah, I could. Actually, I'm doing something. One of my old friends reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want somebody to teach salsa classes at our Latin event next month. So I said, hey, I'll do it. So yeah.
Good. That would be really fun. I would love to see you dance sometime.
It's not that good. It's better than the average Joe.
Well, that's better than most, though. That the average Joe is most, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, So are you guys just really focused on Medicare, or do you guys branch out into other stuff?
We do anything under the health insurance umbrella. So
okay.
I started my career almost 9 years ago in the ACA space, right? So I'm pretty good at that stuff. I tend to think I'm one of the best. And then I started doing the group health insurance, pretty good at that stuff. And then I found out that ACA and short term is too dynamic. The rules were changing. We weren't getting paid as much. How can I ever recycle my business? And that's when I started hearing the rumblings about Medicare, right? Medicare sticks on the books. The seniors, aren't going anywhere. They're going to stay on the policy until they pass away, and you can make a lot of money, and it's the best residual income. So we started doing that, and that's the part of the business now that I probably love the most. So we do it all. However, we're doing the majority is Medicare, but we're doing ACA, and we're doing some group health insurance. Some of my agents are life insurance killers out there. I personally am not a life insurance guru. I just don't have the energy to learn it just yet. I'm putting too much energy in growing the agency and adding value to the agency. But yes, Medicare, ACA, that's our stuff. That's our jam.
So who are you looking for? What kind of agent are you looking for, and what states are you recruiting in? Because if you don't join my team, then I would recommend joining freaking Carlos' team, because one of the two of us can help you get to what you want to get. I promise.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you giving me, lifting me up, edifying me, right? What I'm looking for, the first thing I thought about, Josh, is I'm just looking for adults. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like people who take this stuff seriously, like that really want to make this a career and really want to make some money, because we have the blueprint. We can show you how to make some money. But like I said, it's the 20% that really make it happen, and the other 80% for some reason they don't, right? And there's no difference, right? So I'm looking for adults. Where we're recruiting, like I said, we don't really recruit. Where can we have agents? In 48 different states. We're licensed in 48 different states. The only states that we don't have a license in, for what reason I don't know, is Alaska and Rhode Island. But everybody else, if you're looking for a home, join EIT now, or join EIT.com. That's where you can get started if you want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we have about 10, 12 minutes left. I'm going to let you flip the script and ask me 2 or 3 questions that there's nothing off limits. You can ask me whatever the hell you want.
Nothing off limits?
No.
Why do you wear a hat so much?
I wear a hat mostly because of, I have some complexes or insecurities from middle school and high school when I would use way too much gel and hairspray, and people would like break my hair in half and stuff. That, and I find the hat with the polo makes the uniform for me. And I didn't want to wear a suit anymore and a tie, although I'm starting to want to wear a suit and a tie again. So you'll probably see me in a suit and tie more with Medicare Peace of Mind all over it. But I like the hat because people recognize me as I am, like the whole brand is, the hat's part of it. When I take the hat off, people look at me funny.
They don't recognize you, do they?
Well, yeah, they don't recognize me. The charm goes away. But for whatever reason, having a branded hat that matches the shirt puts people at ease when I'm in the home, whether I'm in the low income home or I'm in the multi-million-dollar home. The uniformity of the appearance makes it happen, and I just like wearing a hat. Go ahead.
I think it's the way it makes you feel. The way it makes you feel is the way it makes the client feel, right?
Well,
if you're nervous, they're nervous too. If you feel like you're like you're desperate, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel like weird too, you know. So if you put your hat on, makes you feel comfortable, then that's the way you should go in.
So we got a question from Holden for you. It says, Carlos, can you give me one tip to help me beat this quote unquote aging Medicare machine?
Get a FOID card. Get a FOID
card. There you
go. That's the only way that's going to happen, Holden. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something that, you know, maybe you'll never outright Josh. Maybe you'll never outright him, right? But I'm going to tell you something right now that Josh will never outright a team. He will never outright a team. Josh by himself is never going to outright my agency, I don't think, right? So if you really want to beat him and you can't do it by yourself, then think about bringing other people on board and see who's laughing last. You know what I mean?
100%, 100%. And yeah, so to finish the thought on the hat thing too, I think most of it comes from most of the compliments I've received from the opposite sex in my life have occurred while wearing a hat. And so I think that's part of it too.
Just the hat? Just the hat?
Well, and specifically a backwards hat when I was younger.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't do the earrings. I don't do the hat anymore. And once upon a time, the world should know I had nipple piercings too. Someone talked me into that.
It all comes
So
out.
no one would have ever guessed that, I would imagine.
Hey,
But yeah, what other question do you have? There's got to be
okay,
one more in there.
let me ask you this. So for the newer agents, some landmines that you've stepped on before that maybe we can avoid. What is a landmine do you think, hey, this is not going to work, we shouldn't do this, or what?
A landmine for a new agent. Um, Trying to follow more than one system. So if you try to go to YouTube and you try to pull a piece of this person's system and a piece of that person's system, and then you get squirreled because all of a sudden this other person's saying, hey, I'm doing digital marketing instead of the direct mail one that you were following. My biggest mine that I see people hit is they don't pick a track and run it. They try to find the perfect core. They try to find a perfect line on the track rather than taking whatever starting position they have, whatever lane they're in, and making it work. So yeah, landmines. And honestly, if you're asked how do I find a landmine, most landmines are self-induced from either poor planning, poor choosing. Because here's another pro tip for anyone out there considering getting in the business. Just because someone recruits you into the business doesn't mean they're the right one to bring you in. It might be the right business for you, but I really encourage you, especially if you're new, like interview a bunch of uplines, interview a bunch of people to find, like, if this is the right industry for you, you need to find the right mentor, the right system, the right platform, someone that like speaks the same language as you and has the same vernacular, the same pace, maybe the same preferences. Like for Carlos and I, we would get along great because we could just get our families together and we'd have a lot in common that way. But if Carlos was a 22-year-old, not married, single guy who wanted to party all the time, then him and I wouldn't have a lot of synergistic qualities to maybe work together as much, because a good working relationship bleeds off and kind of becomes a good friendship if it really works that way. And you really, I mean, for me, it's not just work, and I care about people like it's a family. Landmines, working leads without working them. I can't tell you how many people, even myself, you hand me a lead, I'm like, ugh, maybe I'll call them once. They didn't answer, so they're clearly not going to ever answer the phone. So I'll just never call them again. So I did my job. I called it once. So landmines would be letting your brain tell you that once is enough and calling a lead. You should be calling that thing like this. The best analogy I've heard is pretend that person knows who has your long lost kidnapped mom, and you need to get a hold of them to find out where your mom is, and you got to call them with that kind of tenacity that, I'm going to call you at 2:00 in the morning until you freaking answer because I want to know where my mom is. And you got to have that level of tenacity. Otherwise, the landmines really, I don't think there are landmines unless you make them yourself.
That makes sense. Makes complete sense. And let me just say something about what you said about finding the right upline, right? Yes, find somebody that you connect with, because you can tell that attitude reflects leadership, right? You can tell that this is the bro agency. They got all the bros in there that are 19, 20-year-old kids and gals, and then you got the agency who's all gals or all guys, and then you have a mixture of people. Like you're gonna find the right one that best fits you. You just got to go out there and look for it, for sure. I got another question for you.
Yeah.
It was mentorship. Can you pinpoint one person that you would say kind of changed your life or trajectory in this business, and why?
Well, yeah, it's really easy for me. It's Rudy. who I worked for at the other agency, who gave me a job when no one else would have really. I literally, I got fired for writing prescriptions to myself from a dentist office. And a week later, I got hired to work as a secretary at an insurance agency. And I didn't tell him about my trouble until a month later when it was time to go turn myself in for work release. And so he still stuck it out. People from that office came and picked me up from jail and took me to work every day and gave me a chance when no one else would. And so then he kind of took me under his wing. And I mean, did I feel overworked and underpaid for a while? I mean, in some respects, yeah. But when I look back now, he gave me a PhD in not only sales, not only helping me be more mature as like I'm a hothead and a half. Even to this day, I fight the struggle. The other day, I had some guy, like, I didn't even do anything wrong. He thought I was following him too closely into the car. And so he did this weird, like, jerky maneuver where he, like, swerved back and forth and moved over in the other lane. And so then I found myself flipping him off, like I was all pissed off, like we were going to fight or something. And so I still fight that to this day. And he helped me learn how to be an adult, learn how to take responsibility. He taught me how to run an agency. I basically got to, he for a while, he gave me the keys to the car because he would go spend 4 to 6 weeks in Cabo, and he would just leave us to run the agency while he was gone. And so during that period, I had to fly around, and I had to recruit agents. I had to teach agents, and I was in my early 20s. I had never been in the field. And so I was trying to get people to do what I say in an environment that I'd never proved myself in. And so it was a gauntlet. But he kept behind me and kept giving me chances. Even when I got a second DUI and I got my probation violated, I had to start the whole thing over. I had to go to jail for 90 days. I did everything I could to ruin my life before it started, to ruin my opportunities in the business. He petitioned to help me get my license because I had to get a 1033 waiver. If you write prescriptions to yourself, they don't like that. And they especially don't want you to be an insurance agent if you violate a breach of trust like that. And so I had to go through a very, very long, arduous process just to get approved to be an agent. I mean, it took me 18 months to get my license. From the point I passed the test, I submitted my application, and then it took 18 months. And so for me, I owe it all to Rudy. Because without his guidance and everything else, I wouldn't be who I am. To this day, a lot of the one-liners I use in my seminars and other things are things that he said, methods that he had of overcoming objections, just little things. I mean, I got 14 years of shadowing someone who really was a good salesman. Unfortunately, he didn't have the visionary side of things, and so he was really more of an operator than he was a visionary. So we never got to expand or grow like we had the potential to. But then the new owners that bought our agency, I mean, they not only did they like quadruple in size since they acquired our agency, but they have now been they're now integrity partners. And so I mean, to go from unknown to integrity partner in a couple of years is a really phenomenal feat, and it's a testament to because the part of their growth was acquisition. So if you're out there looking to buy a book of business, number one, it's really hard now because the jig is up and everybody understands that. And a lot of the offers are coming out from private equity and other stuff. And so they got cash offers, and you're trying to work out, like, can you self-finance this book? But yeah, no, for me, it was Rudy. Since I've been in the field, the carrier reps, and specifically Carissa Plummery with Humana, made a huge difference in the trajectory of my career early. And Noemi Bean was my Humana support in Colorado before. Right after I got in the field, she moved to Arizona. At first it was Hawaii, then she settled in Arizona, and then I had Carissa since. But I have some other great carrier reps, Petra from United Healthcare right now, James from Aetna. I've got Patty with Cigna. In essence, my carrier relationships have been the new guiding light for me. And then I've had really good relationships with my uplines. I've outgrew my first upline where I needed more support, more other things. And so my uplines have been top notch. I've had really good leadership in those roles, really good people to follow. Connecting with people like Cody Askins has led me to meet people like you. By I think really when I really started to like you was after we went to 8% last year. And then we both went to that mastermind thing afterwards. And you could definitely tell who the top agents in the room were of that thing. And you were definitely one of them. And so Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. But I wouldn't change anything. I almost feel like I won this weird lottery that I wasn't supposed to win. Because if you look at me on paper and you look at my past, you look at my history, or maybe somebody that knew me 25 years ago and never talked to me since, they would look at me now and be like, "Who the hell is that?" And it's a testament to me getting not just a second shot and a second opportunity. I mean, I got third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth, ninth, maybe even 10th chances of me doing the same stupid ass thing over and over again, and people still just not giving up on me. And so if that's you, if this message has touched you in some way, trust me, I don't care what you've done. I don't care if you have 20 felonies, if you just killed somebody, whatever it is. With enough time and enough effort and enough persistence and consistency with your passion and your effort and the right people behind you, you can change the world. You can change your world. You can change other people. But yeah, we're going to go over just a little bit, but I want to ask you the same question. Who's the one person that's influenced your trajectory and your career the most?
Oh, wow. First, let me say, Josh, it's amazing how vulnerable you are on camera, man. And I think it's amazing. And I think it's great for humanity to see people like you coming from where you came from and being successful now and giving hope to other people who may be in the same situation, man. So I think what you do or who you are is amazing. For me, so right out of college, man, I was I was an engineering major at the U of I, and that really kicked my butt. And I flunked out of engineering school, and I got my psych and Spanish degree, right? So what am I going to do with the psych and Spanish degree, right? So there was a dealership going around to a bunch of different college campuses during the career fairs, and they were like, "Here, come work for us. We'll pay you $700 a week. You can become a sales manager, make over $100,000, blah blah blah." So I ended up working at a dealership for a few years, and I met this one guy named Lawrence, and Lawrence taught me how to sit people down. Like, hey, shut up, sit down. I'm trying to help you. Do you want my help? Yes or no? Right? And that's the way kind of like I approach everything. Like it's like I believe I'm here to help you out. I'm not here to help myself out. I'm here to help you change your life, help your situation out. Do you want my help? Then just sit down and be quiet. You're coming in here, bad credit, challenge credit, $500 down, and you got 2 repossessions on your credit report. Shut up, sit down, and let me try to help you out, right? And he showed me how to do that. He showed me how to talk to clients that way if I had to. Like if I needed to bring that out, like I could do it, right? And at the same time, everybody was his cousin. Like, hey, what's up, cuz? Like, walk, hey, cuz, like all that stuff. All that put together, man, I think made me a good if you want to say salesperson, it made me a good salesperson. So I think I learned a lot from him, along with learning a lot of things from people who are successful in this career. But that guy is the first person that came to mind when I asked you the same question. So
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, man, I really enjoyed this. We're gonna have to. I want to have you on again after AEP and see how it went. But yeah, no, thank you for your time. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I would love to collaborate with you and chew the fat on marketing ideas for sure.
Yeah, it was an honor, man. Again, I appreciate you having me on, man. And yeah, if anybody needs some help, I'm here for you anytime, regardless of contracts. I'm here for you.
Likewise. Thanks, Carlos. He is Carlos. I am Joshua, the Medicare Machine. This has been the Top 1% podcast. Tune in next week. You'll love the guests we got next week too. Thanks again, Carlos, and you guys have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye.